Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back from a long holiday weekend here in the USA. Hope everybody enjoyed their July 4th. I certainly enjoyed the 3-day weekend. It was certainly hard to kind of sit back and watch all the NFT stuff happening on Twitter, not really being able to engage as much, but it was a much needed refresh for me. Um, but I did try to keep up with what was happening. There were some notable events and sales, uh, as well as some interesting things happening within the community. But yeah, with that said, let's hop right into it. I'm excited to just talk about all the things that are happening kind of this week, what's going on, how things are changing in the community. Um, with Punk's comic, a lot of action from last Friday forward. So there were some announcements regarding kind of how they're going to reward early collectors going forward. So obviously, people who bought the first comic are getting the second one for free if they were within the first 5,000 mints. But we are seeing that they want to continue that sort of reward for buying, the first edition and owning it, being a early supporter because it's going to be a long-term project. So that's really cool to see. Right now, for the second edition, the Ape Madness voting is still going on. There is a vote for the round of 32 to go to the Sweet 16. So there are a lot of close votes within this one. Um, Notably, I am still in contention for this down here with matchup number 8. I am currently losing by like 4%, so that is sad to see. If you ever get a chance, if you haven't voted, please take a chance to vote. It means a lot to me. I would love to go to the next round. And yeah, that's still going on. I think there's about 22 hours left with this. It might even be less. It might be like 12 hours. I have to check, but if you haven't voted, go vote now. Voting certainly closes soon. Um, Also, we saw DC investor Kevin Rose tweeting about the comic at the beginning of the weekend. You saw sales dramatically spike up. Last week we had a floor in the high point twos. Now our floor is in the high point sixes, touching the point sevens, and with low numbered mints going for a premium of about 1 Ethereum. I do think we see this floor increase again with other announcements coming out and other analysis coming out, because I don't think anybody's done a really hardcore analysis on the value of each comic with the burn and stake mechanics. So I think there's still potential here. I certainly was a buyer at point 0.3. I still think at 0.68, 0.67, there is some alpha to be made here. Um, Also happening, yesterday, which was interesting to see, was Gary Vaynerchuk holding an NFT Twitter Spaces. We've seen a lot of talk about how Spaces are becoming more and more of the NFT, uh, almost like the better version of Clubhouse, with more in-depth talks, more analysis, less about you know um, it just seems like the talks within Twitter Spaces are more constructive to moving the space forward in technical discussions, economics. There has been discussion about monetization of Twitter Spaces. I think if you're doing a brand or launch or trying to build your name within the NFT space, it would be highly counterintuitive to your growth. And I think it's short term money perspective to charge for spaces. Um, Off of that tangent, Gary Vaynerchuk jumping in there, chiming about some things. Saw a Video Game Freak hop up on stage, talk to Gary. Um, and I think the two big things from that talk were that we saw a discussion around, what is Gary holding and how he kind of just stays quiet on most things, but he did explain that he has 52 punks. And the other thing is, talking about valuations, and I 100% agree with this, the fact that a lot of these projects, the IP and the long-term development of that IP is going to be the value prop, or the huge upside. So, we see these projects that are essentially crowdsourcing their launch of the brand, but there still needs to be a like brand building off of that. Like, yeah, you sold 10,000 apes, but to really make it run the length of time, you need to build, a movie, an animated movie off of that IP, or a consumer packaged good off of that IP. Those are very hard things to do. And it's not like, okay, we'll just throw it on something. There needs to be, for it to go the run, is a very difficult task ahead. So, a very good point made in that space. I hope people try to get into the next one. If you didn't make it, there certainly will be more. My buddy Tenacious, continuing to be one of the top traders on in the NFT space right now. I've seen Tenacious trade, an ape for like a comic for an ape. He's traded a couple of things that like have made me go like, whoa, like you got a good deal there. This time trading a few different things to get a Fidenza. Very exciting. Excited to see what he trades next. Fidenza is certainly still a solid purchase. We saw Jonathan Nash drop this 3D rendition of the well meme, with a Bored Ape Yacht Club ape. Very exciting. Just shows what is going to come in the future. Right now, we're all looking at 2D non animated static images. What can the IP behind those images create going forward? I mean, look at this. Imagine a movie or an animated series with this type of quality. It'd be really cool. So just showing what is possible in the future. Axie Infinity, getting a lot of hype over the weekend for the Axie's breeding cost doubling. We're seeing a lot of price action here. I haven't been fully educated in this project. However, after doing a little bit of research, people are printing money with this project. There's also, it's not like, point 0.1, point 0.2 sales. Like there are several hundred ETH sales happening within this. I think the highest one so far is like 300 ETH, but like there is liquidity in the high teens to the double digits of Ethereum sales for Axies. So if you aren't educated on this, it's certainly one to understand. I think it's another proof that games and like the utility as using an NFT in a game or games based on NFTs are highly valuable, and it shows why like having being able to use an NFT for something, trade it, breed it, battle with it, play with it, has so much value. So if you haven't, I definitely encourage you to go look at Axie's Infinity, understand it. There are a lot of things happening with this project that should be studied and understood for other projects, especially if you're launching your own. You have a game, mechanic plan for it. Understand what they're doing so that you can kind of play with it, and understand what works. Archick announcing Ether Poems 2 is launching their second collection for the Ether Poems. This one will have, it looks like, an animated kind of visual proponent to it as well, which is very exciting. So I think we're seeing a lot of the other artists that were in the original drop come back, but we're also seeing, I think, a few new ones. And it's also cool to see that all of these royalties are being paid. It's a collective, so there is shared cost, but there's also shared profit. So certainly something to keep an eye on, and excited to see what comes next. The other big thing we've seen over the weekend and into the beginning of this week are CryptoPunks are not dead. That is for sure. Seen a few $1 million plus sales. This zombie top hat selling for 520 Ethereum. We saw this zombie sell for $1.06 million, 450 Ethereum. We saw this CryptoPunks hoodie sell for 73.3 Ethereum, $170,000. And we saw this 3D stringy sell for 50 Ethereum, $115,000. So punks are certainly not dead. Big sales happening there. The floor is way up from where we were. I mean, obviously Ethereum is up from where we were in the lows at 1800 a week and a half ago maybe. But the floor is up in Ethereum. The price of Ethereum is up. So I think we're about double where we were a week and a half ago. The floor is about $40,000 now. Over the weekend, we also saw Degen's launch. The price of this has been interesting, and it's also making people question the profile photo avatars market, and if it's worth buying in or if you're just playing a lottery. And you know if we look at real quick what they're trading at, 0.08, 0.05, 0.06, 0.09, there certainly is not a huge run up here. I do think I saw some ones selling for like 0.05 and 0.04. So there are certainly a lot of pieces within this sale that are going for under mint. But it's again just showing that there is an oversupply within this segment. A lot of people are playing the lottery, so make sure you do your research before you mint, and understand what you're purchasing. And always make sure you're okay holding something if it's worthless at the end of the day, because a lot of this could be. So it's just important to have that perspective when you're buying. Um, we also saw a huge Meebits deal go down between Beanie and Disco. Um, Beanie had about, I think, 8 of these hoodie Meebits. The hoodie Meebits are certainly a premium. They usually sell for anywhere from 5 to 10 Ethereum. Certain ones that have premium features selling for more. Beanie tweeted out that he has 7 left for sale, and then Disco took that deal, and it was completed all within. It was about a over an hour or two period between first tweet to the completion of the sale. So that was really cool to see. Certainly, Meebits are not dead, especially seeing the recent price activity. We're seeing a lot of stuff still within the high single digits to the mid double digits, seeing 17 Ethereum sales roll in all the way up to 45, 49 Ethereum sales at the beginning of the weekend for some 3D Meebits. So exciting to see that. Also seeing Cool Cats become a large discussion over the weekend. Their initial drop of 10,000 dropping, with breeding kind of a future feature for this project. There is rarity within this project where certain cats have a higher rarity and more valuable. Have seen some sales roll in for half an Ethereum this morning. The floor is sitting right down by around zero point 0.1. I think initial minting was 0.06. But it is certainly a project that seems to have a large discussion and a big narrative on Twitter, potentially worth holding. Not sure. Do your research. But that is a project to keep on the radar. Bored Ape Yacht Club floor right at 3 Ethereum, holding strong. Certainly, I think so. A big narrative that I pushed going into the weekend was that people were going to have these conversations with people I haven't seen in the last year, families and friends all getting together for the first time. That was certainly the experience I had, where people are discussing, okay, what are you doing? What are these NFTs that you talk about or posting photos of? Or, hey, look at my phone. That was certainly something that happened for me. Friends of mine I've talked to certainly had similar experiences. And what I saw happen were a lot of people showing, hey, if you want to put in $10,000, if you want to put in $6,000, here's the project to do it with. And most of them pointed to Bored Ape Yacht Club. So we saw unique wallet holders over the weekend go up for Bored Ape Yacht Club, which was interesting to see. We also saw, and this is hard to judge based on Kevin Rose and DC Investor, but from the Friday to Saturday kind of spike we saw in the comics, going from like 2,200 holders up to 2,400. Even in the late weekend into Monday and this morning on Tuesday, we are seeing a increase still in unique wallets there. So it kind of proves the theory that the weekend has spiked new adopters coming into the space. I think it's worth probably looking at new wallets created on like MetaMask or Ethereum, like Ethereum wallets that are uniquely created over the weekend, to see how many people might have been onboarded. That's a good analysis to do. But we're certainly seeing there be buying activity within the floors for a lot of these, quote unquote, quality projects. The brother sister project to Bored Ape Yacht Club, Bored Ape Kennel Club, still holding strong around zero point 0.5 Ethereum floor, seeing some low sales come in. But then, we're not seeing the 2 to 10 Ethereum sale price range as much. Sales have certainly pulled back hard here. So originally, if you took the pre-reveal 2 Ethereum floor price, you are looking good right now, unless you have a very rare dog. Um, I'm currently still holding mine. No plan there other than it's list priced, sit and hold on it, wait for whatever future announcements come from Bored Ape Yacht Club on how the utility for holding one of these will be used in the future. Um, Also worth looking at, I talked about profile photos and kind of where floors are moving earlier in this video. Wicked Craniums still sitting around the lower area. They did drop from like a point 0.2 floor lower, but they are still sitting around that point 0.1 ish floor that we've seen stuff going for. Um, but yeah, it's interesting to see projects like this one, which had a lot of kind of push for it, a lot of people very excited for it. The art is certainly cool in my opinion, pulling back. So there's going to certainly be some test of people, having conviction in their purchases, or are people going to FUD out? That is worth noting and looking at. Speaking of FUDding out, my fucking pickle project absolutely just falling. I think this was like 0.175 right before mint, then right after mint reveal, or 0.75 before the reveal, then it dropped down to like zero point 0.9 after the reveal, and then it's just been down from there. I think we got some support around 0.02, or not 0.02, around point, uh, 0.05, and it's interesting. The project even seen some go for like point oh 0.02, 0.03. There is not a lot of reason right now to buy this in the long term because it was kind of a meme project. Um, but I do think that this is one of those ones that's like valuable for the meme almost. So, I don't think this will ever like dry up and fully go to zero. I think it's still one of those ones that's like, haha, remember when there were pickles, for like the community that's there now, but in the future, probably not as much. Forgotten Runes Wizards Cult, another very cool project that saw some love over the weekend. Primarily in like the sales perspective. I think a lot of people were talking about this on Sunday in Spaces, and then yesterday morning in Spaces was one that I heard a lot of people talking about. We saw the sales number go up. The floor is still down around like 0.05, and which is below original minting cost. We are still seeing a premium for ones that are more rare, but there is buying power behind this, and I do think this is a project that will be interesting to watch in the long term, how it develops. Taking a quick look at Punk's floor, like I said, above $40,000, 17.9 Ethereum, with Ethereum being worth about $2,300 this morning. Um, the floor is certainly, has been bought up a bit. We are seeing a common trend among the floor for those attributes that are less wanted, such as, vapes, the mohawks and the spiky hair, stringy hair certainly down there, and then eye shit and the colored eyes. So um, yeah, the floor is the floor is the floor. All punks for sales recently. Like I said, we had some big ones coming in. Certainly, lots of money flowing into the ecosystem. We saw Tiara sell for $144,000 or 62 Ethereum, and Top Hat's certainly still a premium as shown with that zombie. Um, Worth doing some more analysis on this market. I think we're going to start to see, you know, more and more people get into this at a premium level, instead of buying the floor, purchasing stuff for that $250,000+ range. And and I use that as a dollar range just because I think a lot of the people that we'll start to see come in are the wealthy people who are looking to diversify, seeing this as an alternative investment, and trying to put money in, and that'll be kind of that price range for what they're probably comfortable with investing in, a JPEG. But yeah, super cool. Excited to see all that price action happening with punks. NFTs are not dead. Cryptocurrency market is up 3% over the 24-hour period. Bitcoin sitting at $34,000, 300. Ethereum sitting just above $2,300, and it is up 7% over the last 24 hours. Bitcoin is down 4% over the last 24 hours. We have seen some decoupling happening with Bitcoin and Ethereum, with non correlated price movement, which is interesting to see. Um, so I'm expecting there to be some price action as we get closer and closer to July 14th, which is the 1559 expected integration date. So as we get closer to that, definitely keep an eye on the market. NFTs are not dead. Super exciting to see the last 3 to 4 days of price action, all the buying, all the new projects launching. But I do think now more than ever, it is important to understand what is the value proposition of purchasing an NFT. Is there going to be demand for it in 5 years? Are the developers going to be around in 5 years? What do you think that project's going to evolve to? So that said, I hope you guys have a good rest of your Tuesday. I'll be around launching some spaces, so hop in there. And again, if you have not voted, please go check out the Punks Comic 8 Madness voting and give me a vote for number 8 matchup. It would mean a lot. I'll catch you guys tomorrow on tomorrow's Morning Mint. And as always, stay happy and positive.